Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Heritage. And on today's episode, we are off to one of the more interesting ones in Slovakia that I really don't think I could pronounce even if I tried.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. This lovely monument here, which I, as our resident butcher of all languages, will call Levoka Spišský Hrad, and its associated cultural monuments, was inscribed in 1993, the same year that Slovakia became a country.
Ooh, some cultural identity, mayhaps, to go with the new
Yep.
nation.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Yeah. Yep. That definitely seems to be a major part of it. The The monument itself, or the site itself, is 13th and 14th century buildings. It's kind of a little bit of everything: military buildings, political buildings, religious buildings. Um, the big reason why it gets on this list as a UNESCO World Heritage Site is because it has very, very well preserved Romanesque and Gothic architecture. Both those styles side by side. You don't see that too often, and both styles have been preserved on the site, which is, uh, a big part of what makes it unique and beautiful.
Not to
Yeah,
mention they have the defensive fortification on the hillside, which I'm sure is part of the architecture style. But man, what a scenic overview of the town. Like, that is gorgeous. And the fact that the fortifications are still standing in what seems to be almost their entirety is wicked cool.
yeah,
I mean, some of the places may not have a roof on them and it might be overgrown, but the walls are sturdy.
yeah, yeah. They did. There's a lot of things here, and one of the very fun fat things too is there is a famous artist from the 16th century called Master Paul. The altarpiece, which is 18.6 meters in height. Uh, it was made by that man. It is still intact. So this is a Eastern European Renaissance master that made this altar, and it is still there. So that alone is a unique cultural work.
I mean, going by a lot of the UNESCO list and even by the United States' metric, works done by masters are usually pretty darn important.
Yeah. Yeah, like forget the rest of this massive compound. The altarpiece alone would probably get you a UNESCO World Heritage listing, and it's literally just the icing on the cake here, as far as all the wonderful things to find
Yeah, but
out
it's
here.
it's very beautiful. I mean, you see hints of the religious buildings. You see the Renaissance inspiration, especially with the artwork. You see the Middle Ages. I mean, it is beautiful, and you can see just all the influences there. And
Yeah, yeah. You can even see some of the Saxon colonies that got founded here in the Middle Ages. That's right. The Saxons settled and then got integrated into the monument as it rose.
wow.
You can see some of their touches there. So you've got the foreign group coming in, settling, and being assimilated into the monument. You've got this own monument with influences from Italy in the west, and then doing its own thing with Gothic architecture from the north, and just making something that is just just here. It's this is the one place where this happens.
Yeah, it's very culturally unique, especially where the geography of it stands in Eastern Europe, because you get the
Yeah,
influences from Western Europe, you get the influences from the Far East. It's such a cool blend, and to see it all work so cohesively and not in stratified layers, that's not very common, especially of sites of this magnitude. And the fact that you could tell developments are are in the area, but they're not impeding on the site. They're not growing to the site. It is adequately protected and isn't going to be encroached upon. So it maintains that location, and the fact that it's on that hillside overlooking the town is, I think, so cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is very beautiful. Like you can see why this was a defensive position back in the day, and it is, you know, it is just such a commanding view of all the mountains.
And one of the things that maintains it, um, uh, one of the things
Oh,
that helps this site and what keeps it in great condition is the fact that it is maintained and it is protected. There are laws in place, although this article doesn't talk about them. However, one of the things it does highlight is the private building aspect of it. Could use some assistance when it comes to actually keeping them up, repairing them, restoring them, keeping them in good condition. So that
yeah,
is where the site probably could use some improvements moving forward.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It does seem to be that the primary issue is the historic buildings down into that extend from this, hilltop monument into the town of Levoča are, they're just getting more wear and tear on them than the site management can currently keep up with, which is unfortunate, but it is something that happens, and it's far from the worst thing we've had to see on this channel. I do love the passive aggressive bureaucracy for the management plan that just says it's adequate and then it moves on, where it's just like who was fighting who when we were writing this, right?
Oh,
Like,
did you not see what it said immediately after? And management plans need to be published. That to me came off
yeah,
even more passive aggressive. Like,
yeah,
tell us how you plan on managing the site, please.
and it's like also known as Slovakia going. We just got out of Yugoslavia. No one is telling us what to do.
And this site was inscripted in '93, but then there were modifications to the boundary where they expanded it in 2009, where the actual property size is 1,351 hectares, but the buffer zone itself is 12,580 hectares. So quite a decent buffer around the area that helps somewhat protect it, you know?
Yeah, you got a radius of 6 times the size of your site going there. So that's a nice good chunk.
But
But
yeah,
you can kind of see just from the aerial photos here, the I guess bird's eye photos, just why it would need to be that big when you have this much view shed to work with.
yeah. So this is kind of a cool one that I thought we should talk about because we don't really highlight this region very often. And yeah, figured that's a good point for us to wrap up here. Not too much more for us to discuss. But
So
thank you
yes,
guys. Thank you guys for
no,
watching. We'll see you in the next one.